Welcome, truth seekers and everyday philosophers. Today, we're diving deep into the murky waters of human nature. We're talking about envy and falsehood, those sneaky little gremlins that can wreak havoc on our relationships and peace of mind. Ever felt that pang of unease when someone's praise seems a little too sweet? Or maybe you've had that gut feeling that someone's smile isn't quite reaching their eyes. We all encounter these moments where something just feels off. The ancient Stoics, those masters of wisdom and resilience, had a lot to say about navigating these tricky social situations. They believed that by understanding human nature and cultivating our own inner strength, we can protect ourselves from the harmful effects of envy and deceit. As Epictetus, the Stoic philosopher who faced his fair share of challenges, once said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." So, let's equip ourselves with the Stoic tools to not only recognize envy and falsehood, but to rise above them, fostering genuine connections and inner peace. In this episode, we'll explore 13 Stoic concepts that will help you decode the subtle signs of envy and deceit, empowering you to navigate your relationships with wisdom and authenticity. So, grab a cup of tea, settle into your favorite spot, and let's embark on this journey of self-discovery and Stoic empowerment. Let's get started with Lesson 1, the barbed compliment. Buckle up, folks, because we're about to uncover the hidden meanings behind those backhanded compliments that leave you feeling more stung than praised. If you found this video helpful or learned something new, don't forget to hit the like button and share it with your family and friends. And be sure to subscribe to the channel so you can stay updated with all the latest content. I'd love for you to join me on this journey. Lesson 1, the barbed compliment, that backhanded praise though. We've all been there, right? Someone gives you a compliment that sounds nice on the surface, but it leaves a weird aftertaste. It's like, "Hey, congrats on the new job. Must be nice not having to work so hard anymore." Ouch! That's a classic barbed compliment. It's praise with a hidden jab, a bit of shade disguised as sunshine. The ancient Stoics were all about straight talk and authenticity. Seneca, the OG Roman philosopher, believed that true happiness is to enjoy the present, to rest satisfied with what we have. In other words, real joy comes from within, not from fishing for compliments or putting others down. But let's be real, the world isn't always a Stoic utopia. Envy and insecurity can lead people to use these backhanded compliments as a way to subtly undermine your success or make themselves feel better. It's like that frenemy who says, "Your new car is so cute. It's perfect for someone your size." They're trying to dim your shine, even as they pretend to admire it. So, how do we deal with this? First, trust your gut. If a compliment feels off, it probably is. Second, channel your inner Stoic detective. Look for inconsistencies between their words and their body language. Are they smiling, but their eyes aren't crinkling? Is their tone flat, even though they're saying something supposedly enthusiastic? Finally, remember that your worth doesn't depend on someone else's approval. As Epictetus, another Stoic heavyweight, said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." So when you encounter a barbed compliment, don't let it get under your skin. Take a deep breath, acknowledge the awkwardness, and then move on. You've got better things to focus on, like building genuine connections with people who celebrate your successes without any hidden agenda. Because at the end of the day, true friendships are like fertile gardens. They need honesty, respect, and a whole lot of sunshine, not shade. Lesson 2. selective support, fair weather friends, and the Stoic stance. Ever had that friend who's all high fives and cheers when you're on a roll, but suddenly goes MIA when you hit a rough patch? Yeah, that's selective support in action. It's like they're only there for the sunny days, but when the clouds roll in, they're nowhere to be found. The Stoics, those wise folks from ancient Greece and Rome, were big on loyalty and having each other's backs. Marcus Aurelius, the emperor-philosopher, said it best. We were born to work together like feet, hands, and eyes. To act against one another is contrary to nature. True friends are your cheer squad and your shoulder to cry on, no matter what. But in the real world, we all know those fair weather friends who only show up when it benefits them. They might be super excited about your promotion because it makes them look good, but when you're struggling with a personal issue, they're suddenly too busy to talk. It's like they're only invested in the relationship as long as it's serving their own needs. So, how can we navigate this tricky social landscape? First, pay attention to the patterns in your relationships. Does someone's enthusiasm for you fluctuate depending on your circumstances? Are they always there to celebrate your wins, but conveniently absent during your losses? Second, remember that true friendship, in the Stoic sense, is about virtue and acting for the common good. It's not about keeping score or using people for personal gain. As Epictetus put it, the key is to keep company only with people who uplift you, whose presence calls forth your best. Finally, don't be afraid to set boundaries and prioritize your own well-being. If someone's selective support is causing you emotional distress, it's okay to distance yourself or limit your interactions with them. Surround yourself with people who genuinely care about you, rain or shine. Because just like a plant needs consistent sunlight and water to thrive, so do our relationships. Selective support is like giving a plant sporadic attention. It might survive for a while, but it'll never truly flourish. Choose your friends wisely and nurture those connections with the unwavering support and loyalty they deserve. Lesson 3. The body betrays. When words and vibes don't match. You know that feeling when someone's saying one thing, but their body language is screaming something else? It's like that awkward moment when your friend insists they're totally fine after a breakup, but their eyes are red and puffy and they can barely hold back the tears. That's the body betraying the words, a classic sign that something's not quite right. The Stoics were all about paying attention to the world around them, and that includes the subtle signals people give off, even when they're trying to hide their true feelings. Epictetus, the Stoic philosopher who knew a thing or two about human nature, said, "The chief task in life is simply this: to identify and separate matters so that I can say clearly to myself which are externals not under my control and which have to do with the choices I actually control." In other words, we can't control what other people say or do, but we can control how we perceive and react to it. And a big part of that is learning to read between the lines, to see beyond the surface, and tune into those non-verbal cues that reveal what's really going on. Think about a job interview. You're sitting across from the hiring manager, and they're saying all the right things about how impressed they are with your resume. But their arms are crossed, their eyebrows are furrowed, and they keep glancing at their watch. Their body language is betraying their words, hinting that they might not be as enthusiastic as they seem. Or maybe you're at a party, and someone's giving you a big, toothy grin and complimenting your outfit. But their handshake is limp, their eyes dart around the room, and they seem eager to move on to the next conversation. their bodies telling you they're not really that interested, despite their friendly facade. The Stoics understood that these non-verbal cues are like clues in a detective story. They can help us uncover hidden emotions, motivations, and even potential deceptions. By paying attention to these subtle signals, we can navigate social situations with greater awareness and avoid being misled by false appearances. So, the next time you're interacting with someone, don't just listen to their words. Watch their body language too. Notice their posture, their facial expressions, their gestures. Do they match up with what they're saying? Or is there a disconnect, a subtle betrayal that reveals a deeper truth? Remember, the body doesn't lie. It's a mirror reflecting our inner thoughts and feelings, even when we try to conceal them. By learning to read this language, we can gain a deeper understanding of the people around us and make more informed choices about our relationships. As the modern Stoic philosopher William B. Irvine puts it, we can improve our lives dramatically if we become more adept at recognizing when other people are trying to manipulate us. So, keep your eyes open, trust your gut, and let the body language reveal the hidden truths. Lesson 4. The Poisons of Comparison, Keeping Up with the Joneses and the Kardashians. We live in a world that's constantly telling us we're not enough, not rich enough, not successful enough, not pretty enough. Social media feeds us a never-ending stream of highlight reels, making it all too easy to fall into the trap of comparison. And that, my friends, is where the poison of envy starts to seep in. The Stoics, those wise folks from ancient times, knew a thing or two about this. Seneca, the Roman philosopher and playwright, warned us, "We are more often frightened than hurt, and we suffer more from imagination than from reality." In other words, we create our own suffering by comparing ourselves to others and imagining that their lives are somehow better than ours. Envy is a sneaky little emotion. It can start with a harmless glance at someone else's Instagram feed and quickly spiral into a full-blown case of keeping up with the Joneses or the Kardashians, depending on your social circle. Suddenly, we're obsessing over the latest gadgets, the designer clothes, the exotic vacations, all because we think those things will make us happy or somehow more worthy. But here's the Stoic truth bomb. True happiness comes from within, not from external possessions or achievements. As Marcus Aurelius, the emperor-philosopher, wrote in his Meditations, "Very little is needed to make a happy life. It is all within yourself, in your way of thinking." So how do we break free from the poisonous grip of comparison? First, we need to recognize the signs of envy in ourselves. Do we feel a pang of resentment when we see someone else succeed? Do we find ourselves constantly measuring our own worth against others? Second, we need to practice gratitude for what we do have. Instead of focusing on what we lack, let's appreciate the good things in our lives, our health, our loved ones, our unique talents and experiences. Finally, let's shift our focus from external validation to internal growth. Let's strive to become the best versions of ourselves, not by imitating others, but by cultivating our own virtues and pursuing our own passions. Remember, the only person you should be competing with is yourself. As the modern Stoic philosopher Massimo Pigliucci puts it, "The goal is not to be better than anyone else, but to be better than you used to be." So, let's ditch the comparison game and embrace our own unique journeys. Let's celebrate our own successes and those of others without falling into the trap of envy. Because true happiness and fulfillment come from living a life of purpose and integrity, not from trying to keep up with an impossible standard. As the Stoics would say, let's focus on what we can control, our own thoughts, actions, and attitudes, and let go of the rest. Because in the end, the only comparison that truly matters is the one between who we are today and who we strive to become tomorrow. Lesson 5. The Seeds of Discord, Drama Queens, Gossip Mongers, and the Stoic Shield. Ever known someone who seems to thrive on drama? They're always whispering secrets, stirring up trouble, and pitting people against each other. It's exhausting, right? That's the classic sower of discord, someone who plants seeds of negativity and watches them grow into full-blown conflict. The Stoics, those ancient philosophers who were all about keeping it real, had a lot to say about this kind of behavior. Epictetus, the OG Stoic teacher, once said, "The chief task in life is simply this: to identify and separate matters so that I can say clearly to myself which are externals not under my control and which have to do with the choices I actually control." In other words, we can't control what other people say or do, but we can control how we react to it. And when it comes to dealing with drama queens and gossip mongers, the Stoic approach is all about maintaining inner peace and refusing to get sucked into their negativity vortex. Think about that co-worker who's always spreading rumors about everyone in the office. They might try to get you to join in, sharing juicy tidbits about your colleagues' personal lives or complaining about their work performance. But the Stoic response would be to politely decline, change the subject, or simply walk away. Or maybe you have a friend who's constantly creating drama in your social circle. They might play people against each other, exaggerate conflicts, or even invent stories to keep things interesting. The Stoic approach would be to set boundaries, limit your interactions with them, and focus on building relationships with people who bring positivity and harmony into your life. The Stoics understood that negativity is contagious. If we surround ourselves with people who thrive on drama and conflict, we're likely to get caught up in their toxic energy. But if we choose to cultivate relationships with people who value honesty, integrity, and mutual respect, we create a social environment that supports our own well-being and fosters genuine connection. So the next time you encounter a sower of discord, remember the Stoic wisdom. Focus on what you can control, your own thoughts, actions, and reactions. Don't let their negativity drag you down or tempt you to participate in their drama. Instead, choose to rise above it, maintain your inner peace, and surround yourself with people who lift you up and inspire you to be your best self. As the modern Stoic philosopher Ryan Holiday puts it, the person you spend the most time with is yourself. So make sure you're in good company. Choose your friends wisely, cultivate positive relationships, and let the seeds of discord fall on barren ground. Lesson 6. The siren song of flattery, when sweet talk turns sour. Ever been buttered up so much you felt like a pancake? Flattery can be intoxicating, like a siren song luring you towards rocky shores. It feels good to be praised and admired, but the Stoics warn us to be wary of excessive flattery. It can be a tool of manipulation, a way to gain your trust or exploit your kindness. Marcus Aurelius, the Stoic emperor-philosopher, had a no-nonsense approach to this. He said, "Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one." In other words, focus on your own actions and character, not on the empty praise of others. Think about that new acquaintance who seems a little too eager to be your best friend. They're constantly showering you with compliments, telling you how amazing, talented, and brilliant you are. It might feel good at first, but eventually you start to wonder what their angle is. Are they genuinely impressed? or are they trying to get something from you? Or maybe you've experienced the boss who overdoes the praise before asking you to take on an extra project or work overtime. It's like they're trying to sweet-talk you into doing something you might not otherwise agree to. The Stoics believed that true compliments are specific and sincere. They focus on your actions and character, not on empty flattery or exaggerated praise. As Epictetus said, "If someone praises you for something you lack, consider it an insult." So, how do we navigate the treacherous waters of flattery? First, trust your gut. If someone's praise feels excessive or insincere, it probably is. Second, pay attention to their actions. Do they follow through on their promises? Do they treat you with respect, even when you're not around? Finally, remember that your self-worth comes from within, not from the opinions of others. As the modern Stoic philosopher William B. Irvine puts it, the more we seek the respect of others, the less respect we have for ourselves. So the next time someone starts laying on the flattery thick, take a step back and ask yourself, what's their motivation? Are they trying to manipulate me, or are they genuinely appreciative? By staying grounded in Stoic principles and trusting your own judgment, you can avoid the siren song of flattery and build relationships based on authenticity and mutual respect. Remember, true friends and colleagues will appreciate you for who you are, not for the inflated image they're trying to create. So, keep your head up, stay true to yourself, and don't let the sweet talk lead you astray. Lesson 7. Diminishing your light, the dimmer switch of envy. Ever felt like someone was trying to dim your shine? You know, you're excited about something you've achieved, but instead of genuine celebration, you get a lukewarm response or a backhanded compliment that leaves you feeling deflated. That's the dimming of your light, a tactic often used by envious individuals to downplay your accomplishments and make themselves feel better. The Stoics, those wise philosophers from ancient times, were all about recognizing and embracing your own worth. Epictetus, the Stoic philosopher who overcame immense challenges in his own life, famously said, "The greatest danger for most of us is not that our aim is too high and we miss it, but that it is too low and we reach it." In other words, don't let anyone dim your light or convince you to settle for less than you deserve. Envy can be a powerful and destructive force. It can lead people to downplay your achievements, attribute your success to luck, or even try to sabotage your efforts. They might say things like, "Oh, you got that promotion. Must have been the right place at the right time," or "Sure, you won the award, but everyone knows the competition wasn't that tough this year." The Stoics, however, teach us to find validation from within, not from external sources. As Marcus Aurelius wrote in his Meditations, "The opinion of 10,000 men is of no value if none of them know anything about the subject." So, don't let the naysayers and the energy vampires steal your joy or make you doubt your abilities. How can we protect ourselves from those who try to dim our light? First, recognize the signs. Pay attention to how people react to your successes. Do they offer genuine congratulations and support, or do they try to minimize your achievements or attribute them to external factors? Second, remember that your worth is not determined by the opinions of others. You know how hard you've worked, you know the sacrifices you've made, and you know the challenges you've overcome. Don't let anyone else's negativity diminish the pride you feel in your accomplishments. Finally, surround yourself with people who lift you up and celebrate your successes. True friends and mentors will shine their own light on you, encouraging you to reach your full potential. As the modern Stoic philosopher Ryan Holiday says, "You are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with." So, choose your company wisely and make sure they're adding to your light, not dimming it. Remember, your light is precious. It represents your unique talents, your passions, and your contributions to the world. Don't let anyone extinguish it. Keep shining brightly, and let your light inspire others to do the same. Lesson 8. Broken Promises and Shifting Sands, the Stoics' Guide to Trust and Trust Issues. We've all been there, right? That friend who's always flaky, cancelling plans at the last minute with some lame excuse. Or that co-worker who promises to help you with a project, but then conveniently forgets when the deadline looms. It's frustrating, disappointing, and it can leave you feeling like you're building relationships on shaky ground. The Stoics, those ancient philosophers who were all about living a virtuous life, had a lot to say about trust and reliability. Marcus Aurelius, the emperor-philosopher, famously wrote, "The whole future lies in uncertainty. Live immediately." This doesn't mean we shouldn't make plans or have goals, but it does remind us to focus on the present moment and the actions we can take now to build a good life. And part of building a good life is cultivating relationships with people we can count on. The Stoics believed that true friendship is based on virtue and acting for the common good. It's about being there for each other through thick and thin and keeping our word, even when it's inconvenient. But let's face it, not everyone lives up to the Stoic ideal. We encounter people who make promises they don't keep, who offer excuses instead of solutions, and whose words simply don't match their actions. It's like trying to build a sandcastle on shifting sands. It might look impressive for a moment, but it's bound to crumble sooner or later. So, how do we navigate this tricky terrain of trust and reliability? First, pay attention to patterns. Is someone consistently flaky or unreliable? Do they make promises they don't keep? If so, it might be a sign that they're not prioritizing your relationship or respecting your time. Second, remember that actions speak louder than words. Don't just listen to what people say, observe what they do. Do their actions align with their promises? Are they consistently there for you, or do they only show up when it's convenient for them? Finally, don't be afraid to set boundaries and protect your own well-being. If someone's unreliability is causing you stress or anxiety, it's okay to distance yourself or limit your interactions with them. As Epictetus said, the key is to keep company only with people who uplift you, whose presence calls forth your best. Surround yourself with people who value honesty, integrity, and follow-through. These are the people who will build you up, not let you down. They're the solid foundation upon which you can build lasting and meaningful relationships. Remember, trust is like a precious vase. It takes time and care to build, but it can be shattered in an instant. Choose your friends and partners wisely. Nurture those connections with honesty and reliability. And don't waste your time on those who treat your trust like a disposable commodity. As the modern Stoic philosopher Massimo Pigliucci puts it, the best revenge is not to be like your enemy. So, let's rise above the flakiness and broken promises and strive to be the kind of people we want to attract into our lives. People who are dependable, trustworthy, and true to their word. Lesson 9. The Needy Heart, the Validation Trap, and the Stoic Path to Self-Love. We all crave connection and belonging, right? It's human nature to want to be liked, appreciated, and accepted. But when that desire for validation becomes all-consuming, it can lead us down a slippery slope of people-pleasing, insecurity, and even manipulation. The Stoics, those ancient philosophers who were all about inner strength and self-reliance, had a lot to say about this. Epictetus, the no-nonsense Stoic teacher, warned us, "If you want to improve, be content to be thought foolish and stupid." In other words, don't let your need for external validation dictate your actions or compromise your values. Think about that friend who's always seeking approval, constantly fishing for compliments and changing their opinions to fit in with the crowd. They might agree with you even when they disagree, just to avoid conflict or rejection. Or maybe you've encountered the social media addict who's obsessed with likes and comments, their self-esteem rising and falling with each notification. The Stoics believed that true happiness and fulfillment come from within, not from the fleeting approval of others. As Marcus Aurelius wrote in his Meditations, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." So, how do we break free from the validation trap and cultivate a healthy sense of self-worth? First, we need to recognize our own neediness. Do we constantly seek reassurance from others? Do we feel anxious or insecure when we don't receive praise or attention? Second, we need to practice self-compassion and acceptance. Instead of judging ourselves harshly for our imperfections, let's embrace our flaws and celebrate our strengths. As the modern Stoic philosopher Kristin Neff puts it, with self-compassion, we give ourselves the same kindness and care we'd give to a good friend. Finally, let's focus on building our inner strength and resilience. Let's develop our own values, pursue our own passions, and make choices that align with our authentic selves. As Seneca, the Roman Stoic philosopher, said, "It is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more, that is poor." Remember, true confidence comes from knowing who you are and what you stand for, not from the constant need for external validation. By cultivating self-love and inner strength, you can break free from the needy heart and build relationships based on genuine connection and mutual respect. So, let's ditch the people-pleasing and embrace our own unique individuality. Let's find validation from within, not from the fickle opinions of others. Because true happiness and fulfillment come from living a life of authenticity and purpose, not from chasing after the ever-elusive approval of others. As the Stoics would say, let's focus on what we can control, our own thoughts, actions, and attitudes, and let go of the rest. Because in the end, the only validation that truly matters is the one we give ourselves. Lesson 10. The Whispers of Intuition. That gut feeling and why the Stoics think it matters. Ever had that feeling deep down in your gut, that little voice whispering, "Something's not right here"? Maybe you meet someone new and they seem perfectly charming, but there's just a nagging sense of unease you can't shake. Or perhaps you're considering a new opportunity and on paper it looks fantastic, but something in your gut tells you to proceed with caution. That, my friends, is the whisper of intuition. It's that subtle, instinctive knowing that often defies logic and reason. And while the Stoics were all about using logic and reason to navigate life's challenges, they also recognized the importance of intuition in our decision-making process. Epictetus, the Stoic philosopher who was no stranger to adversity, famously said, "The greatest danger for most of us is not that our aim is too high and we miss it, but that it is too low and we reach it." In other words, don't let fear or doubt hold you back from pursuing your dreams, but also don't ignore those intuitive nudges that might be warning you of potential pitfalls. Think about that time you ignored your gut feeling and went on a date with someone who seemed perfect on paper, only to discover they were completely incompatible with your values and personality. Or maybe you accepted a job offer that looked great on the surface, But your intuition told you the company culture wasn't a good fit, and you ended up feeling miserable and unfulfilled. The Stoics believed that intuition is a valuable tool for navigating the complexities of life. It's like a built-in radar system, scanning the environment for potential threats or opportunities that our conscious minds might miss. By paying attention to these subtle signals, we can make more informed choices and avoid unnecessary heartache or regret. So, how do we cultivate and trust our intuition? First, we need to quiet the noise and create space for inner listening. Meditation, mindfulness practices, or simply spending time in nature can help us tune into our inner wisdom. Second, we need to pay attention to our physical sensations. Intuition often manifests as a gut feeling, a tightness in the chest, or a sense of unease. These physical cues can be powerful indicators that something's not quite right, even if we can't logically explain why. Finally, we need to learn to trust ourselves. As the modern Stoic philosopher Massimo Pigliucci puts it, the more you practice listening to your intuition, the better you'll get at distinguishing between genuine signals and mere noise. Remember, intuition is not about being psychic or predicting the future. It's about tapping into your subconscious wisdom and using it to guide your decisions. By combining intuition with reason, you can navigate life's challenges with greater confidence and clarity. So the next time you feel that little whisper in your gut, don't dismiss it. Pay attention, listen closely, and trust your instincts. Because sometimes the most profound truths are found not in the loud pronouncements of the world, but in the quiet whispers of your own intuition. Lesson 11. Sharing wisdom. Wisely, the Stoic art of choosing your confidants. We all have those moments when we're bursting with excitement or struggling with a heavy heart, and we just need to talk to someone. Sharing our joys and sorrows is a natural human desire, a way to connect, find support, and gain perspective. But the Stoics, those wise philosophers from ancient times, remind us that not everyone deserves access to our inner world. Seneca, the Roman Stoic philosopher and playwright, cautioned, "We are more often frightened than hurt, and we suffer more from imagination than from reality." This wisdom applies to the realm of sharing our thoughts and vulnerabilities. Sometimes, the fear of judgment or betrayal can be more painful than the actual experience. Imagine confiding in a friend about a personal struggle, only to discover later that they've been gossiping about your situation, exaggerating details, or even using your vulnerability against you. It's a painful betrayal that can leave you feeling exposed and hesitant to trust again. The Stoics believed that true friendships are built on trust, respect, and mutual understanding. They understood that sharing wisdom wisely is an art, requiring discernment and careful consideration of who we choose to confide in. As Epictetus said, the key is to keep company only with people who uplift you, whose presence calls forth your best. So, how do we navigate the delicate balance of sharing and protecting ourselves? First, pay attention to your audience. Consider the person's past behavior. Have they demonstrated trustworthiness and empathy? Or is there a history of gossip or betrayal? Stoic reasoning allows you to weigh the potential risks and benefits of sharing sensitive information. Second, remember that you're in control of what you share and how you share it. You can't control how others will react or what they'll do with the information you provide. By exercising discretion, you minimize the chances of negative consequences arising from circumstances beyond your control. Finally, when you do choose to share, be clear and concise in your communication. Avoid oversharing or divulging unnecessary details that could lead to misunderstandings or be used against you. The Stoics valued clear communication, both in terms of the content of your message and the context in which you deliver it. By practicing Stoic discretion and choosing your confidants wisely, you can protect yourself from negative influences and cultivate trust with those who deserve it. Remember, genuine connections are built on a foundation of honesty and shared vulnerability. But by exercising discernment, you can share your vulnerabilities with those who will cherish them, not exploit them. In doing so, you can build stronger, more meaningful relationships based on true support and mutual respect. Lesson 12. Boundaries. The Stoic art of saying nope and not feeling bad about it. We all know that person who just sucks the life out of you, right? They're always complaining, dumping their emotional baggage on you, or crossing your personal lines without a second thought. It's exhausting, draining, and it can leave you feeling like you're constantly giving away pieces of yourself without getting anything in return. The Stoics, those ancient philosophers who were all about wisdom and self-mastery, understood the importance of setting boundaries. Epictetus, the Stoic philosopher who knew a thing or two about dealing with difficult people, said, "Happiness and freedom begin with a clear understanding of one principle. Some things are within our control and some things are not." In other words, we can't control the actions of others, but we can control our own reactions and set limits to protect our own well-being. Think about that friend who's always calling you to vent about their problems, but never seems to be there for you when you need support. Or that coworker who constantly oversteps your boundaries, making inappropriate comments or taking credit for your work. These are classic examples of people who disregard your personal space and emotional energy. The Stoics believed that setting boundaries is not about being selfish or uncaring. It's about recognizing your own needs and limits and communicating them clearly and assertively. As Marcus Aurelius wrote in his Meditations, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." So, how do we set boundaries in a Stoic way? First, recognize your needs and deal breakers. What kind of behavior are you not willing to tolerate? What situations drain your energy or leave you feeling resentful? Once you're clear on your limits, you can start communicating them effectively. Second, be assertive and consistent. Don't be afraid to say no when someone asks you to do something that compromises your boundaries. And once you've set a boundary, stick to it. Don't let people guilt-trip you or manipulate you into giving in. Finally, remember that setting boundaries is an ongoing process. It's not a one-time thing. You might need to adjust your boundaries as your relationships evolve or as you encounter new situations. And that's okay. The key is to stay true to yourself and prioritize your own well-being. As the modern Stoic philosopher Ryan Holiday puts it, the first step to setting boundaries is to realize you have a right to them. So, don't be afraid to speak up, protect your energy, and create a space where you can thrive. Remember, boundaries are not walls that shut people out. They're fences that define your personal space and create a healthy environment for your relationships to flourish. By setting boundaries and communicating them clearly, you're not only protecting yourself, but you're also teaching others how to treat you with respect. So, let's ditch the people-pleasing and embrace the Stoic art of saying nope. Let's create healthy boundaries, protect our emotional well-being, and cultivate relationships that are based on mutual respect and understanding. Because in the end, the only person who can truly take care of you is you. Lesson 13. Cultivating the Garden. The the Stoics' guide to nurturing healthy relationships. Think of your social circle like a garden. You've got all sorts of plants in there, some vibrant and blooming, others a bit prickly or even downright toxic. The Stoics, those ancient philosophers who were all about living in harmony with nature, believed that cultivating a thriving social garden is key to a fulfilling life. Marcus Aurelius, the emperor-philosopher, famously said, "Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one." This wisdom extends to our relationships. Instead of focusing on how others should behave, let's focus on cultivating our own virtue and creating an environment where healthy connections can flourish. Imagine your garden filled with vibrant flowers, fragrant herbs, and sturdy trees. These represent the positive relationships in your life, the friends who uplift and inspire you, the mentors who guide you, and the loved ones who provide unwavering support. But even the most beautiful gardens have their share of weeds. These represent the toxic relationships that drain your energy, create drama, or undermine your well-being. Just like a gardener carefully tends to their plants, removing weeds and nurturing growth, we need to be mindful of the relationships we cultivate in our lives. The Stoics believed that true friendships are based on shared values, mutual respect, and a commitment to the common good. They understood that healthy relationships require effort, just like a garden needs regular watering, weeding, and pruning. So, how do we cultivate a thriving social garden? First, be intentional about the seeds you plant. Surround yourself with people who embody the virtues you admire: honesty, integrity, kindness, and compassion. Seek out those who inspire you to be your best self and challenge you to grow. Second, nurture your relationships with care and attention. Just like plants need sunlight and water, friendships need regular communication, shared experiences, and genuine support. Make time for the people who matter and show them you appreciate their presence in your life. Finally, don't be afraid to weed out the toxic relationships. If someone consistently brings negativity, drama, or disrespect into your life, it's okay to set boundaries or even walk away. Remember, your social garden is a reflection of your own well-being. By cultivating healthy connections and removing toxic influences, you create a space where you can flourish. As the modern Stoic philosopher Massimo Pigliucci puts it, the quality of your life depends on the quality of your relationships. So let's tend to our social gardens with care, nurture the positive connections, and create an environment where we can all thrive. Remember, a beautiful garden doesn't happen overnight. It takes time, effort, and a whole lot of love. But the rewards are immeasurable. A vibrant, flourishing ecosystem that nourishes your soul and brings joy to your life. So, let's get out there and start cultivating our gardens, one meaningful connection at a time. And there you have it, folks. 13 Stoic strategies to help you navigate the sometimes treacherous waters of human relationships. Remember, the Stoics weren't about being emotionless robots. They were about cultivating wisdom, resilience, and genuine connection. As Seneca wisely said, the greatest remedy for anger is delay. The same goes for dealing with envy and falsehood. Take a breath, observe, reflect, and then choose your response wisely. Don't let the negativity of others derail your own inner peace. The Stoic garden isn't about creating a perfect, weed-free utopia. It's about tending to your own growth, choosing your companions carefully, and accepting that some folks might just be, well, a bit prickly. But by practicing these Stoic principles, you'll build a stronger sense of self, foster more authentic relationships, and navigate life's challenges with grace and wisdom. So, go out there and be the gardener of your own life. Plant seeds of kindness, water them with compassion, and watch your inner strength bloom. And remember, as Marcus Aurelius reminded us, the happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts. Thanks for tuning in. Until next time, keep those Stoic vibes high, and remember, virtue is its own reward.